like, what would you do if you never had a good relationship with your father and, like, basically you weren't ever allowed to tell anyone who he was or who your identity was, and you lived with your mom, but you had to be, like, super secretive all the time, and your mom was, like, always scared about people finding out about your identity, so you didn't know what to do, and you only saw your dad, like, once every couple years. Like, it was really weird. Like, you were close when you were younger, and then he just got, like, really distant, and you didn't know what to do. Anyways, so your mom one day dies, and then you're just, like, stuck there on your own, and you're, like, living with this, like, little old lady next to you. But then you find out a couple years later when you're 19 years old that your dad actually died. And so that freed you from the promise that you made to your mom that you wanted to keep, that, okay, like, I'm never going to leave this place, like, until he dies or until he, like, tells me I can go somewhere, because you wanted to honor your mom. Anyways, so you leave and you're kind of trying to figure out who or what or where your mom's family is, because she always talked about wanting to reconcile with them. And so you're like, you don't even know where to start. So you just, like, leave. Anyways, so you get attacked on the road. And because you really have no idea what you're doing. Also, you're, like, kind of stupid. And you get attacked on the road, and this guy you've never met in your life before, he, like, kind of helps you and gets you out of your the trouble you're in. And so but you don't know what to do because you don't really trust him. And then he says he knows who your father is. And that kind of scares you, because nobody is supposed to know who your father is, but he does. And so you're trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. And then he tells you that actually your father didn't just die. He was actually murdered. Also, your dad was the most powerful man in the kingdom. Like, it's a diarchy, which means rule by two. So there was the queen, and then there was your dad, who was also up there. And he is now dead. He is murdered. And he says that he needs your help to solve his murder, because the only person with any information about it has refused to give it to anyone except Taryn Gallows. And no one is supposed to know that she exists. And so she doesn't really want to help this guy, because she was not in a good place with her father. And she just found out all this other information. Doesn't really, like, want to be in that kind of situation with him. And so she doesn't want to do it, but he says, if you help me, then I'm going to help you figure out, like, who your mother's family is. But I need your help to find out who killed your father, because he's now filling his shoes. And so you agree to help him, and you get there. Only by the time you get there, you find out that a lot of people don't really want you there, because you actually have a claim to your father's position. And so that's kind of uprooting, like, all the things they just tried to do by basically assassinating or killing your father. And so now you have a target on your back, and you're kind of caught up in the situation you want to be in. And so now you can't even get out of it, because you can't get out of it because you're stuck, and they're going to hunt you down, because now that they know that you exist, and you realize that's why no one was ever supposed to know that you exist. Anyways, that is how The Blood Virus starts. This is a young adult fantasy novel. It is a completed series of 4. And so the first book starts with that little bit of, like, a murder mystery, who killed her father. And so if you're interested, looking for a new book,